Hello again. It has been a while since the last video, but I'm back with some more simple yet effective tips for Photoshop. So what we're going to look at today is how to fix blown highlights. Okay, so the image I've chosen here, I've actually chosen two. The first one is a pretty typical sunset where the sun is setting behind this jetty, creating very bright sky. So we've blown our highlights or overexposed. So normally what we would do is take two exposures. So as we can see from this one, our highlights aren't blown, and we can tell this by the clipping warning in Adobe Camera Raw. So on this image here, if we turn our clipping warning on, the areas in red are overexposed or blown out. So the difference is with our areas that aren't blown out, what we can do is we can bring our highlights down and we still have detail in the sky. Okay, so with the blown out highlights, if we bring those highlights down, there's nothing there. Okay, it's completely white and it's blown out. So today we're going to have a look at how can we fix it. Again, the only way to truly fix it is multiple exposures, but we're going to hide it. We're going to hide it so it doesn't look quite so bad. Okay, and same with our other image that we've chosen. This one's a little bit different. We've got some blown highlights in the water. So two techniques. The first one is the easy one, and this one a little bit more complex. Okay, but still very simple and very easy to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is, with this image, this is a raw file, so I haven't done anything to this yet, so I'll quickly do some adjustments and then bring it into Photoshop. This one here, I have already done some minor adjustments, and I'm going to bring that into Photoshop and work on that one as well. So I'll just quickly edit this and then I'll bring it into Photoshop and we'll work out how we're going to fix these blown highlights. Okay, so now that we have both of our images in Photoshop, so again, this isn't a full workflow, it's not a start to finish process. We're just looking at how we're going to fix with these certain areas of the image. Okay, so for starters, let's fix these blown highlights under the pier. And the easiest way to do this is, first thing we need to do is grab our eyedropper tool. So with our eyedropper tool selected, we're just going to choose an area near the blown highlight area that still has some detail in it. So if we just zoom in a little, we can see that we still have some detail up here and we can have a little bit of detail over here. You can see the blown out area quite easily. So we're just going to select a bit of the yellow from over here. Then what we're going to do is create a new layer mask. So at the bottom right hand corner, the little plus inside the square will create a new layer. Once we have our new layer selected, we're going to choose our brush tool and we're just going to brush over those highlighted areas. So make the brush as big or as small as you need, and we're just going to paint over those blown out areas just like so. And then change our blend type to darken. And as you can see, all it's done is it's brought back a little bit of detail or hidden the blown out highlights that we had before. Okay, so as long as you choose a color that's very similar to where the blown out area is, you're essentially hiding that blown out area. Okay, so that's it for that example. That's a nice easy one and very simple fix. Okay, so very simple fix, just adds a little bit of texture, a little bit of color back into those blown areas. Now the next one is just a little bit more complex, still fairly simple. So the area we're really dealing with here is in the water. We've completely lost all the texture in the water. Okay, so this one is a little bit different. What we're going to do with this one is use our clone stamping tool. Now the first thing I always like to do is create a copy of our image. Okay, so pressing Ctrl J on the keyboard will create a copy and give you a new layer. Okay, so then if we do anything wrong with the first layer, we've still got the original underneath. We don't want to adjust our original background and then not be able to undo it. Okay, so create a copy, and then over to the left hand side in our tools panel, we want the clone stamping tool. Okay, so select the clone stamping tool, and we want to have not too small a brush and not too big a brush. And essentially what we're going to do is sample an area from here and paint it over the top. So for the clone stamping tool to work, what we do is we hold the Alt button and then you just click on your mouse, any area, and what that'll do is it'll create a copy of what we've just clicked or what we've selected. And then as you can see, as I move my mouse over here, it's copying what we selected here and moving it over to this side of the image. Okay, so try and sample as close as you can to the area we want to repair. Okay, so this time I'm going to sample over this side of the image and then just bring that across as well. Okay, and every time you hold the Alt button, you can click anywhere on the image, and what it will do, it will copy whatever you've selected. Okay, so up here what we're going to do is we're actually going to select a part of the waves, and as we bring it across we can see that it's following that line of the wave. So we're selecting an area very similar to what we're repairing. Okay, and that's the key, trying to select an area that is very similar to what we're repairing. Okay, so we'll just take another sample from here. The longer you spend, again, the more accurate it will be, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to do it as quickly as we can. And we're basically just painting details back into the areas we've lost. Okay, now the reason we create a copy is because if we have a look at, there's the original and there's our stamped out section. Okay, so it's not going to be perfect. The longer you spend, the more perfect you can get. But from here, what we can do is just drop our opacity a little bit until we're just, so that's all the way down. As you can see, we've got those white areas that have got no detail, and we can just slowly bring our opacity up until we start to bring in a bit of detail. Usually around about 50% is a good starting point. And as you can see, if we zoom out, okay, it's a very subtle, but it has gotten rid of those blown areas. Okay, so we have brought back some texture into those blown areas. Okay, so that's our second way of fixing blown highlights. So hopefully this was useful. Hopefully it was nice and easy to follow. So if you did like it, please leave a like. Hit the subscribe button. I do plan on having more videos. I know I said that last time, but I am going to upload a lot more videos this year. And again, most of them will be aimed at beginners, so simple and effective is what we're going to be doing. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.